pushing through the moment. 8 hours, some sessions where I do 4 hours. If you listen closely, you can hear, come on, we can do it. There's self-talk at all of those ridiculous moments that you would never do because it's ridiculous. To me, it's fun. The equipment, make a name for I already have the name. Whether you like the music or not, the point is I've done the work. 1,250 registered works on my legit account. Unless you have produced or released with your name, producer, lyricist, search it up. Thing is here is I've done it. I'm an artist, I'm a producer. Thankfully, I can write. I'm a great writer. Later today, and I'm sure we'll be doing it, but I just want to lay back, this is the pre-show, and there's probably going to be 4-6 hour long pre-show. It's already probably been 4-6 hours. You see, we're slowly going there, and I like for me to be in a certain mental state, physical state. I have to be just right, and if I'm not where I want to be and need to be, I'm not going to do it, because I've learned from personal experience that it sucks when you are live, and I do this stuff live all the time. It sucks practicing in front of you, right, when I'm not really feeling it. So I love all of this stuff that y'all have presented me, and I feel it. I just want to consistently feel it. So I do drink on the job. I don't drink off the job. I never drink off when I'm away from here. So it's like when my day off, sometimes I come in here, but my day offs when I'm just laying there, I never think about grabbing one of these. I only smoke. If I do anything, it's smoke. But since I've been on these like meth drugs for ADHD individuals, I'm not one of them, but my doctor suggested I try it. It changes me, and I cannot lay in bed. It's physically impossible to do it sometimes. And, especially when I have those dreams that I just don't like to dream. Last night I had one of those dreams, and it's flashing back like PTSD, but thankfully I don't remember it because it is one of those messed up dreams. And when I was on the drugs I was before we tried Zoloft, and then we tried Paxil. I remember my vivid dreams, and I so disliked it. I didn't like all of the side effects that it came, but I do need something in my life. So recently I've been trying just different things, and my doctor's been recommending me different things. She's listening to what I say. So I have an excellent pain management team. That's what I have. I got a bunch of people who are rooting for me. Even when I go there every month, I'm supposed to be walking around the block to get my core muscles. So away from here, I have a lot of physical issues. It's not mental, it's physical. And I've traveled all around the USA, and different doctors, and they did their work, and they did a great job. I won't say what they didn't work, especially in Florida. That guy knows what he's doing, but it's very expensive. One trip down there will cost you 20 grand, and 19 grand is going to him. He knows what he's doing, but I have a history of relapse. And I was pain freaking free, man, for 3 days straight. And I was feeling great. That was the problem, and I started overdoing it. And the thing I overdid it was I remember, like, I don't need this ball or this chair I sit on when I do laundry because I sit on a chair to pull stuff out and throw it in the other one. I was like, I don't need it. I can just squat down and take it out. That's how my thoughts were, and that is how I re-injured. That's how I messed up a $20,000 fix to go back to square one. And yeah, he did an excellent job, and I wish I could go back on time and be like, bro, just. And I told myself, I remember telling myself, I'm not going to screw this up. And if I do screw it up, I'm done looking for solutions. And I'm done looking for solutions. I'm done, man. And it sucks because I don't want to be done looking for solutions to get off these, morphine. At the moment, morphine is the only thing that works. So I don't get so depressed and eventually blow my brains out. And like, there is severe pain that I can handle. And having gone through this for 12 years now, 13 years, I get tired of feeling the pain. So I get tired of feeling the pain and I don't do stuff like I'm supposed to, like go on my walks, do this. And it's nice that I'm no longer in bed. Like I put myself on bed rest for 6 months shortly after the last season of beat making and mixing or touring online, is like I'd say it, because we go hard for probably, I'll probably end this in November or December, and then we'll take a 2 month break. And it's hard to take that 2 month break, but once, once I physically walk away from my job here, and after a week of being away, it's easier to deal with the subconscious of go to work. When I was laying there for 6 weeks, over 6 weeks, so this is like June 1st, we're coming back alive. We didn't come back alive until, a few weeks after that. Until a few weeks into July. So it's going much slower. And I wanted to be buff by the end of this year, but it ain't happening. Like, there's no way I'm going to lift weights. No way, man. Easy re-injury. My injuries are spine located, central spine, low back, L4, L5, and there's issues going on above and below my fusions. They took out stuff that made it worse, and I made them take it out. They should have kept it in, but I was tired of feeling the sliver in my back. I don't remember how it felt, but I remember describing it as a sliver in your spine, and that does not sound good at all. So I guess I'm in a different place than where I was a few years back. Every time I go for a surgery, I'm trading it in. That's what I've noticed. For me, when I go in and make a big decision, I take out that surgery, take out one, because there's two, of those fusion claws on CJ014. If you search up CWSPOD and then search up my album, CJ014, 14th album. Every 7th one, it's a freestyle one. But in that album cover, there is a picture of both fusion devices in my spine. They were x-rays. And one's a spacer, and one was a claw. You can see the claw. and they took out the claw, and then all that weight fell on top of the spacer. And that's the current pain that I remember after that surgery. They called back and they're like, "How you doing?" And I'm like, "Every time I stand, I'm feeling pins and needles." And I could hear him go, "Oh." So the compression is there. There's some issues going on whenever I stand or bounce too much, and that's why I sit here steady, that it will start to like compress. And I got ice. I know how to handle all of it, but I just want to avoid all of that. I can bounce, seriously, for an hour, and there's nothing from keeping me partying with you guys. But I do miss touring. I do miss going outside my house. I do miss all of my huge fan base out there. I miss hanging with y'all. I miss hanging with my old friends. I miss hanging with family. And but I'm thankful that I'm in a place that has high-speed internet, grocery delivery, close to an Amazon distribution center. I got weed, I got excellent doctors, and it took a while to even find a Thug Mansion. I'm in Thug Mansion from Tupac. We should play that song for y'all who don't know what I mean by that term. I'm going to play it here. And Tupac describes the definition best. We're going to pitch it out, It's Thug Mansion. And I found my Thug Mansion here, homie. So I can't complain. Throughout all my issues and divorces, I can't complain. I'm positive. I'm a positive dude. Today is another great day of recording. And, I look forward to coming here now that all of this is set up. And I'm glad I went through the pains just to set it up. Because this is my therapy and therapist. We should listen to more Tupac songs. So there's a song called Ghetto Gospel. I remember in my first marriage, this would be the wife that has a book out. Chandra Magwire, Magwire. She was awesome. She had her own issues going on. We dedicated ourselves to each other. And then she had electroshock therapies. Had to do a lot of weeks. It was a lot of different times. And that was my introduction to having a bias against the mental health. So, I could say that those electroshock therapies ruined what we had going for us. She was awesome. She would sit on my face. She was a freak. She would want to do it with the windows open. And she would put on a skirt. And she says, lay on the floor and beat off as I would suck on her thigh. She was a real freak, man. But she had her own issues, just like mine. She was never feeling good. Always we had book signings to go to, and she would never feel good to go to those book signings. So a lot of those book signings we didn't go to. Was trying, to push her. I was rooting for her. Uh, and I'm just that type of dude. But she was my wife, so I loved rooting for her because I knew that when she was feeling good, like she fulfilled pretty much everything of mine. And then it was like after the electroshock therapies, after like two or three of them, I remember her. We were leaving or something to go someplace, and she stopped me and she like looked me into my face. She like put her hands here and she said, "I'm having a hard time knowing. I'm having a hard time remembering you, and you're becoming a blur with my domestic violence abuse." So that was weird. I tried not to think about it, but it ended up being a struggle for her. And that was a moment that was just a bad time for everyone. Like I never got to say goodbye. And then in 2013, she took her own life. And that's hard, right? When your ex like took her own life or something. And by that time I was already here in Colorado, so I had no contact, and I was kind of pissed off for a while after I read it. 2 years later, I actually did research on her, and I was like, she's dead? And that hit me like crazy, because for a while I was making songs that would not help her depression. I was like, look what you did, and so I've learned a lot about that, and I feel guilty every day because I'm like, I do blame myself. So, I mean, that's when I stopped making, like, that's when I stopped targeting individuals in my lyrics. Obvious. It's like, oh, it's obvious who he's talking about. Because I was in pain, I guess I was hurting quite a bit. And I no longer have any of that music. And I don't even remember what I said, but I remember going hard on her. I remember going hard, like Ice Cube's style trolling to the ultimate, my family. And then when I read that she like died 2 years earlier, I was like, I gotta change. I gotta stop doing this. I guess I never been right since I heard that news. I'm guessing she offed her life not because of me, but because of how she felt and how our marriage ended. She was feeling guilty herself. And it takes time when you have those electroshock therapies. You lose your mind, right? There were times when she didn't know who I was. She didn't know where her home was. And when you go through that type of therapy, you forget. And with her, she wanted to forget her previous marriage abuse. So she was married before, and I don't know how dudes can beat up on women. I really don't understand it. I guess I get it, but I guess I don't know how you could really do it. And I just been with women who have been with that type of abuse. I've been with fucked up women, man. And a lot of them, I could say, were caused by men. And I never wanted to be those because I had two older sisters who I got to see when they come home from dates and like their date treated them like shit or something. I was a little tiny kid who saw that, you know, so I didn't want to be another one of those dudes who did that to women because I didn't have any brothers. All I have is two older sisters. So I saw what they did, you know, when they broke up or, you know, just some stupid stuff going on. Like, I would see the aftermath of it. I would see them cry. I would see them, like, for a whole week act backwards. Like, they go through depression. Like, all this stuff. Like, I was like, I never want to be that type of guy. So I get it. But it's just too bad that electroshock therapies couldn't help her. Um, you know, she forgot who I was. She was saying to me, I'm confusing you for my therapy. And, you know, she ended up cut her own face. She took the knife that my dad gave me for Christmas. I don't use pocket knives. My dad does. He believes in them. So he gave me a pocket knife for Christmas. She took it out and she sliced up her face. Big old cut here. And then I looked on a Facebook, you know, like in remembrance of Chandra Maguire. And I remember seeing a picture of, like, she stabbed herself and she went like this. That's what it looked like because you could see stitches all the way up her arm, and she was a believer in cutting. We went to the emergency room like once a week. She was a basket case, but I didn't care. I was always there for her. I was always there for her. I didn't judge. I was always there. But when the person forgets who you are, when you traded much of your free time and life for them, and like they forget. I think what happened with her was it took some time to remember her thoughts and this and that. I think once she put the puzzle together of everything, what happened, because I ended up going to jail for that incident as well. You know, it was collateral damage. I didn't do anything. It was collateral damage, man. So I think when she put all of it together in her head about how screwed up the situation was, she probably couldn't handle it. You know, and it was a screwed up situation even for me. I would have a hard time living with myself if I did that to someone else. Probably off myself too. So like I went to jail. I was going on sentencing day. Like it went all the way to sentencing day. Because the district attorney is dickhead. And that's just what they do. That's their job. Their job is to stand up for the victim. But it's I'm glad that the world is finally changing to where like people like me ain't end up in jail for some psychological damage, some personal trauma that they're dealing with, and I just end up to be collateral damage. Like it sucks. Like even in her book, she wrote a poem called Jeff in her book, and it would say like she would tell me every day, and I miss that, about how lucky she is. Oh yeah. Y'all be telling stories, you be missing it. We got it here. We got it here, man. We're back online. Just noticed my stuff was down. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Telling you. Check, check. Check, check. All right. So, yeah, I apologize. I was gone. I just told you an emotional story, and I will tell you it later when I upload it. It was about like my ex-wife and stuff there. So yeah, I guess I miss her. It's too bad that she's no longer with us, and I feel guilty for it. But the circumstances, it is what it is. It wasn't my fault, and so I don't hold it against my fault. I just feel bad that I like went at her like I did in my freestyles, because she was already struggling. I had no real right to keep, to beat her down like verbally, because I was here and she was there, and then I found out she's no longer with us 2 years later after it. We were just saying about how much it changed me. Wow, man. We have a 159 gigabyte video. That's 30 frames a second. We're winning. I'm not worth 160 gigabytes. It's for damn sure. But it's there. Oh, if you want to listen to my last Vox, I believe it's finally up online. Let me check here. We're going to jam out to another Tupac. So yeah, it's there. If you go to twitter.com/CWSPOD and then scroll down till you find Vox from mega.nz. It's just sharing. So my stuff gets backed up to there, and then I'll just share the folder that I want you to see. There's a Vox. Vox means voice only. I don't know what X, talking or something. So there you'll find the trimmed down version of these days. The videos are big, every hour and a half is 60 gigabytes. So unless you have high speed internet, I'm gonna eat up your bandwidth, no doubt. So we're going back here and we're gonna play some more Tupac songs. I'm glad I got that moment. It's why I sit here and drink, or it would never come out. Y'all will hear what I'm talking about shortly. You'll hear the whole story of my ex-wife, and